it's your body. You're stuck with it, whether you like it or not, for the rest of your life. So learning, like I'm biased.
Learning
I think
is
I'm a little biased, but like, what is a more valuable thing to learn than how to take care of you?
it's the same thing when it comes to, the debate between, do I track my macros, do I eat intuitively? I think it's incredible for people to be able to eat intuitively, but if your body doesn't know how to be fueled because you don't understand how macronutrients work, then we can't just listen to the intuition if our intuition is telling us,
Cheesecake.
Yeah. Get in, losers, we're going lifting. Welcome back to the Dangerous Woman podcast. I am your host, Colleen Conlon, and this is my special guest.
Why'd you say special like that?
I was going to say this is my special friend, and then I was like, wait, you're married.
This is getting worse. This is getting, I don't know. They're just digging this trench deeper, huh?
This is Tim Facciola.
See what I did there? Digging the trench deeper?
We're about to talk about going deep and wide.
I guess we'll start with deep then.
You ready?
Since I feel like we've already dug down pretty deep with this one.
Well, buckle up, bitches, because here we go.
So, hit me. What's the question?
Do you think it's okay for people to have fitness goals that are a little bit more superficial? They want to try to do a lot of different things versus people who want to do like a deep dive.
Well, it really depends on your why. What are you training for? Mm-hmm. What's your purpose? What's your angle? What do you want? Some people who just want, like, I want to broaden my exercise horizons. I want as many tools in my toolbox. I want to have as many flavors to my week as I can. Like, right? So if you treat fitness like there's nothing wrong with this. I would say I fit into this category where
you
in some respects, I have
super deep.
But there's so many modalities that I love to train with.
Can you tell us some of the things that you're currently doing in your training regimen?
So currently I'm doing like ancient Persian Palavani like training techniques.
Are you wondering what the fuck that is? Yeah, okay.
So like literally swinging like these big wooden meals. I'm using a Shinna push-up board. There's these songs, which are like big shields. It's like a whole ancient practice of like training for warriors, but it was, historically based in ancient Persia. It's still practiced today in Iran. It's like, and all around that area, but it's like a whole form of training, which is, I find fascinating.
I think it's really cool.
But yeah, so like it's a new skill, but now that skill is also based on, well, I also have trained with a gada. I've also trained with a steel mace. I've also trained with club bells, Indian club bells. So like steel clubs. So I've trained with all these different modalities that have nuances to them. Mm-hmm. Like while they all rely on circular strength, for example, and circumduction at the shoulder, they're each different. There's technique to each of them. It's kind of like how, like hard style kettlebell technique versus like sports style. Mm. The tools look kind of similar.
It's kettlebells, but the strategy, the goal, they're
different. And I'd say like that's kind of, what it's like going from the club bell to the gada, to the mace, to even to the rope flow. Like I do a lot of different things. I have a calisthenic background. I have a traditional strength training background.
You've also been training for
Olympic lifting.
Really
I have
long time.
Yeah. So like I want to first mention there's nothing wrong with going broad, with going wide, and because like you want to be mentally, emotionally engaged, stimulated by your training. If you're not, you're less likely to show up for yourself. And we've already talked about consistency being the most important thing in terms of are you going to be successful with this? So like there's a lot of benefits to going wide. Now, going deep with training, this is like putting your 10,000 hours into the one thing, becoming an expert at this one thing, knowing the ins and outs of a particular modality or a particular like pathway. There's a lot of ways to make the egg that is fitness. Some people like scrambled, some people like sunny side up, some people like, poached or eggs Benedict or.
And I would say I fall more so into like that deep category regarding hard style kettlebell technique. Like that is something that I have spent a lot of time dedicating energy, education to, practicing myself, teaching to other people. And again, it's cool. It's different. They're choices. It's not like one thing is better than the other. It's just like, well, what's the goal? What do you want? How do you want to get there?
How do you want to get there? It's like, I'll make a writing reference again, if you'll allow me. So like,
No.
I coach plotting. Like it's the plot is how you get from point A to point B. So like you want this goal, right? There's a lot of ways to achieve that goal. Like the modality, generally speaking, is not going to be a be all end all. Now, it might not be the most efficient or effective way. Like, for example, if someone's like, okay, I want I don't know, give me something.
I want like a fitness goal.
Yeah, like give me something specific.
I want a 6-pack.
I want a 6-pack. And it's like, okay, I'm only going to run. Can you achieve a 6-pack by only running? You can. You can. It's just not the most efficient or
Good
effective
luck.
way.
Is
Yeah.
that all we're doing?
Yeah. Like if you want to be a one-trick pony and you want to go deep and you want to be like the best runner you can be, can you achieve a 6-pack that way? Yes, you can. Is it the best way? Probably not.
Okay, so we're just like using this from the perspective of you just have a low enough body fat percentage because everybody happens to have abs. If we go low. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Go.
Period. So like, can you? Yes. That being said, and once again, you would have to have tremendous technique. You're going deep. You're learning all there is to know about, what running looks like, what it should be like, like your mechanics are. So yeah, your abs are working quite a bit.
I was going to say, I know a lot of like really lean looking runners. They don't have 6-packs.
Sure. But how are they training and running? Because I didn't specify if we're doing distance or if we're doing sprinting or like I didn't specify. I just said running or trail running. I just said running. Because even within that very niche category of running, there's still a lot of
different holes,
nuances.
Holes to go up.
But man, it's going to be that kind of episode. Yeah.
Yeah, if you thought this was a family-friendly podcast,
so
you haven't met me.
So in regards to, do I want to go broad? Do I want to go deep? I do think that there is a level of depth that everyone should have an understanding of. And for me, that understanding is the relationship between how your tissues work. One, you need to understand that language, that communication pathway. And two, even more like generally, you need to understand the language your body speaks to you. For example, like different stimuli, if you have like a pain stimulus, you don't want to push through that. Like that is foundational. I don't think that necessarily is all that deep, but I've learned through a lot of people who didn't realize this was possible. It is deep enough. There's only a handful of clients, I'd say, that when I say, how are you feeling today?
They know how to answer.
They know how to answer in the way that I'm asking. And so.
What's the weirdest response somebody gave you? How are you feeling?
Fine. Like when you say weird, I'm talking about like when I ask, how are you feeling today? How have you been feeling this week? Or, I'm talking about like your body. And now I've learned to specify like, how have you been feeling orthopedically? Yeah. How have you been feeling, digestively? How have you been feeling like
emotionally?
Like how are you actually? Like, how are you? I'm asking about like, how are you?
Fine.
How are you feeling? I'm not just asking how are you with different words. You know what I mean? I want to know, what is your body feeling? What are the sensations? What is happening within your body? And what is it trying to communicate to you? I think that is a level of depth that should be a precursor, even if you want to go wide. I don't want to call it superficial because I don't think that's
Do you think of something
fair.
specifically when you hear superficial?
Well, superficial implies a like surface level understanding. And it like you can go
Okay, so
wide
go
and
wide. Yeah,
still
you're just doing a
have
lot of different
you're doing a
things.
lot of different things. You like a
have-
lot of different types of eggs.
You have yoga, you have running, you have Pilates, you have 2 days of strength training. You're doing a lot of different things, and there's nothing wrong with that if that is the path that you want to go down.
And I'd argue that in doing it that way, you are diversifying your risk, you're diversifying your portfolio. Like it's good to do that because the more things your body's exposed to, the more things it's adaptive to and resilient toward, and that's a good thing.
Totally. But it is different than if you really do focus in on, let's say, somebody who wants to get really good at Olympic lifting. If you were throwing in, I need to also run at the same time, and I need to do Pilates, and I need to do yoga, and I'm going to be doing Olympic lifting, 5 times a week. It's just like, whoa.
Priorities, right? It's gonna like there's also a timeline basis, right? So you mentioned earlier, like you've been training a long time. So typically when I get on a kick, right? So like when
You're there for a while.
I'm there for a while. Yeah. And
like
I'm doing
years.
it. Well, it may maybe not even be years, but it is super consistent. So like when I got into animal flow, right?
Yeah.
I did animal flow.
Guys, you want to see what Tim looked like 14 years ago? Go to YouTube.
I don't think that I think I have that video privated now.
Did you?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. But yeah, I have one of the
First
early
videos of somebody doing it after. Mike Fitch is the one who came out with it, but Tim is one of the first people to actually post publicly.
I'm sure they're very happy that I've taken that video down. But anywho, if I want to learn something, I'm doing a deep dive into it, even if that deep dive was over a 6 to 9 month period or a year period. I'm doing it all the time to like, I'm getting my brain around it. I want to feel it, understand it, identify what does this translate to? How does that work with? And now, because I've done it, even if I've done it so long, so consistently, I've acquired the skill. And skill acquisition, like, we talk about if you run, right? Like, let's just, I keep saying running. Let's say you cycle, right? And you develop your VO2 max, right? Your cardiovascular system, your energy system development is really high, really efficient. But then you get sick and you're bedridden for a couple of weeks, and maybe you have pneumonia. You can't like come back. You're not on, and you're not doing that cardio.
Maybe you got COVID.
Well, maybe not COVID. So like, how long before you actually start losing VO2 max? It's pretty quickly. It goes away pretty quickly.
It's interesting how like strength in comparison to muscle mass, in comparison to cardiovascular endurance, how it's different.
Different things have
changes.
different staying power, right? So next, and this it depends on so many factors, but like if you have like you've packed on muscle, like I remember in college, like I was trying to put on weight for lacrosse. I
Big boy.
put on like 14 pounds, and then I got sick. I got mono, and I dropped like 11 pounds, like in such a short period of time, and that sucked. But it was like, it doesn't really have the staying power. Now it's much better than the cardiovascular, but strength lasts longer than mass, than cardiovascular endurance, and what lasts longer than that is skill acquisition. So if you've ever met someone who like did gymnastics when they were a kid, right? And now they're in their 40s and they're overweight, they haven't done shit for decades. And you're like, all right, kids, back handspring, and they can do it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean,
Why is that? It's because the skill acquisition and the drilling sticks with you.
It's like riding a bike,
It's literally like riding a bike.
That example.
So that is when I go deep with something, I want to go deep enough that I've attained and acquired the skill, the muscle memory. Muscle memory is not really a thing, but like I want that to be ingrained. I want to know it to that degree so that now I have this tool in the toolbox that I can always come back to. And now I have a very diverse and eclectic program design that can still have progressive overload baked into it.
I've seen that with some of like the kettlebell women who have, gone on spans of getting pregnant, giving birth, and it's just like, I've been out of the game, and then you come back into the game and they're just like, I don't know if I can still do it.
And
And
then
it's
they
like,
do.
show me. And it's like, no, you still got it, babe. You learned well.
Skill acquisition. And that's something that like you can't, like whenever someone takes the time and invests in learning something, and that would be something where you're going deep, you're investing the time in learning something. So anyone who goes through swing to snatch, for example, you're spending a 13 weeks, you're going through an intensive to acquire a particular set of skills. And callbacks, baby.
Like trying to think what would happen if Liam Neeson had a kettlebell. Maybe
Did
not.
someone take the kettlebell?
Oh my gosh, could you imagine it? Could you imagine if I was Liam Neeson and somebody stole my golden kettlebells?
I mean, honestly, you have so many. I don't even know if you'd notice.
I would notice. I would notice.
All right, gang, I'm going to literally try this experiment. Let's see how long I can hide a kettlebell from you.
Not long.
Oh, this is going to be fun. Let's see how long. Let's see how long before you notice. This is going to be great.
Tim?
Anywho, so I like to learn something well enough, apply it at a deep enough context that it enters that meaning making cycle in my brain. And now it's mine.
Yeah.
Now I can return to it whenever I want. Because that keeps me mentally stimulated, which means I'm more likely to show up for myself, which means I'm more likely to continue on this fitness journey. Now, also very important, what are my goals?
There you go.
My goals are very different than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, so often people are like, gotta make gains. I want to make this. I want to do that. I'm like, my focus is very much long-term athletic development. I want to relatively, it's a maintenance program from a body composition standpoint. And it's more a matter of how am I feeling and what do I want my body to do? What's going to entertain me? But I'm entertained by things that are like, I like performing well. I like doing things how they're meant to be done.
Yeah, I think people define entertainment and fun in very different
ways.
And
yes.
I don't think everybody would.
So yeah, that's not like most people like, I want the music, I want to listen to this music while I work out.
Tell me a story.
Tell me a story. Like, yeah, that's not when I say I want my exercise to be entertaining, like the actual movement entertains me.
Yeah.
So like every once in a while I'll be like, I haven't touched the Viper in a long time. Like I want to play with the Viper. I just want to.
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that because I can, and I can, because I understand the principles, I can employ any number of, strategies and techniques to hit the tissues that I want to hit to maintain this balanced program. So like some people who are just like, I'm doing a, workout of the day, or, like the fitness blender, or like the apps. It usually,
oh my gosh, I was such a fitness blender girly. I
didn't even know that was a thing.
Wait, really?
Well, no, like I was a
couple.
girly,
I was like,
you know what I mean?
Oh,
A fitness blender girly.
There's girly for everything.
That you could identify. It's like once upon a time, people were just like a fan, right? Like you were just a Taylor Swift fan, and now all of a sudden you need to be a Swiftie. I don't know. My point is
that's like next level.
Identity.
That's not just being the Taylor Swift girly, it's the Swift.
That's what I'm saying. It's like your identity becomes attached to what you like and what you do. It's just, I don't know.
No, I think it's always really important that you have your
own identity,
individual identity. Yeah.
But
that's a separate podcast episode.
We can do that one. But yeah, your identity outside of fitness. So like, to me, going broad, like if you don't want to be a one-trick pony either, where you have one particular set of Liam Neeson skills that don't apply outside of that.
Or maybe you do.
Well, I'll give you an example of some things that like it does not necessarily translate well. If you are, okay, so pick a sport, any sport.
Hockey.
Hockey, okay. Imagine you're saying, okay, I want to be the best hockey player I can be. And Tim said, there are lots of ways to make the fitness egg. And I am choosing the best way for me to make my fitness egg for hockey can be anything I want, and I choose Pilates.
What are you talking about?
What do you mean? What am I talking about?
Go on. No, I get it.
Yeah. That is not a winning strategy is what I'm saying. It's you don't want to be a one-trick pony when you have a specific goal.
Yeah. Or like when people are saying, I really want to build muscle, I'm going to run.
Sure. It's counterintuitive.
Yeah.
It is not the best way. It is not the most efficient or effective way to go about doing that. And then that might be fine. You just need to modify your expectations
Yeah.
significantly. Lower your expectations. Like, I think
Don't have expectations.
don't have expectations because like you're not gonna be pleased. So I think it's just a matter of that alignment that we've talked about.
Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree with that. And I think sometimes people, they just kind of get caught in the web of, well, so and so is doing it this way, so I have to do it this way. I've even noticed that within, there have been certain years, I've run swing to snatch for 5 years now, and there have definitely been pockets where it seems like there's like some comparison game that's being played. And I think it's really important to remember that your goals are yours for a reason, and the things that you value are meaningful. It doesn't matter what somebody else is working on or where somebody else is coming from. Put your blinders up, use other people to help keep you feeling like, oh, this is possible, not that you have to be a cookie cutter version of somebody else just because you see them making progress with a particular goal.
Yeah,
or
so
doing things a particular way.
Yeah, can you be a little more specific? Like, what do you mean when you say like the comparison game as it relates to fitness?
I remember even like I was in a round of swing to snatch. I happened to have somebody who was going after the Olympic trials who came in, somebody who had this long career of running. And she was like, you know what? I'm going to try learning how to use kettlebells as my strength and conditioning work in the off season of getting ready for the trials.
And she did so completely unprompted, I'm sure.
She crushed it. I'm trying to remember how much faster she actually got because of what it is she started doing in her program. But I had other people who were just like, why can't I be, doing all these things that she's doing? Why don't I look the way that she looks? And it's like, well, there's other things going on that you don't necessarily need to do. And what, you're laughing?
I laugh because it's like the equivalent, and it doesn't seem that way because, and this is, once again, this is a different podcast, but this is a statement as to the issues with women's athletics and especially Olympic sports, that like it's easy to see them as people because they're treated as people. Meanwhile, if you turn on the TV and look at the NBA and be like, oh, I play basketball, why don't I do what LeBron James does? And it's like, you wouldn't make that comparison. No one makes that comparison. Oh, I would have done that too. Like, no one does that. But with something like running, like this particular client is physically gifted, has the phenotype to excel at her sport, has trained it her entire life at a very, very competitive level, while having a background in kinesiology, while having a and that's the thing, like it's so easy to compare and not know
the
background. So at a superficial level, it's like, well, we're both doing the same things. You run, I run. You're in swing to snatch, I'm in swing to snatch. Why aren't we the same? And it's like, well, there's so much more underneath this. Yeah. But like bringing it back to broad and deep, I almost see them not as a binary one or the other, but a spectrum. And like, what do you think of that?
Yeah, I think there's nuance to the situation. It's going back to the idea of broad and deep.
Eyebrows.
There's more to look at than what necessarily meets the eye.
So for you, like, okay, once upon a time, I would consider that you got very one-trick pony with kettlebell.
There's a point in time where I was really super wide. I was
too wide.
I was doing spin and hit and running
and yoga
bar and yoga and all of the things. That's also the time when I tried to get into Pilates. I did not like Pilates. But yeah, there was a time I was trying to do it all.
Yeah. And
I wanted my pistol squat then. And I was like, why don't I have a six pack? And all the things.
So at that point, let's say that you were on that spectrum so wide it wasn't serving you because your goals didn't align with.
They made no sense. I needed to get into therapy, and I did.
But you needed to align. This is what I want. This is how I'm going to get it, and this is what I need to show up and do consistently.
Absolutely, yeah.
So now, like even after that, so like then you got really focused into kettlebell specifically, and it was hardstyle kettlebell technique. And I don't think you touched another implement for a period of time.
I was into flags. I did do some progressive calisthenic work, but it was.
I think that was after. Like there was a period of time. It doesn't matter. But my point is you went from super broad, pendulum swung to super deep on one thing.
Yeah.
And then after that, you started broadening, like re-broadening some of those horizons, having had this foundation in hardstyle kettlebell technique.
And I think that's, something to just bring up. It's like if you want to see some very specific results with a particular modality or a training style, to an extent, yeah, you do need to spend time there. You do need to educate yourself. You do need to develop the skill acquisition. And then when it comes time to, sprinkling in some other things, that's like how you balance it. You have to learn to earn.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Preach.
Of course you do.
Why you say it like that?
I don't know. I don't really know where I was going with that. At first I was like, maybe this is fun. And then I was like, maybe this feels like a little too sexual. I don't know.
Learn to earn is sexual? I don't want to know. That's not...
Bring us back.
Class, that's not where I went. That's not where my head went. But like, I like that concept of learn to earn. So like very often, like, okay, take that client that's like, I want to be mentally stimulated by my workouts all the time. I want to have fun. I want to be entertained by my exercise.
Yeah.
You have to earn that. You have to earn that.
Well, you don't have to. I mean, you can be like how I was, where I was just doing everything.
Well, how is that working out for your goals?
I mean, it really wasn't. And that's why I think for anybody who does want to feel like, I had a client who was like, well, I want to train to run a marathon and I want to lose, 100 pounds of body fat and I want to pistol squat and I want to do my CrossFit classes. It's like, I get that you see other people doing a lot of different things. I mean, even when I post on social media, you're going to see me with the kettlebell. You're going to see me on the silks. You might see me doing, multiple different things, but I wasn't learning how to do all of those things at the same time. I can now have a practice of multitasking things, but it's because I've taken seasons to do deep dives so that my body understands how do we juggle multiple modalities and do it well.
So you learned to earn.
I learned to earn.
And it wasn't sexual
about it.
I don't know why you went there. Anyway, but I really do like that concept because like I think that makes a lot of it makes a lot of sense, but B it creates this like I think oftentimes people look at fitness and it has to look this way, and it's like, well, no, it doesn't. Like there aren't any hard fast lines.
There's rules.
But there's rules and they exist relative to your goal.
You just learn how to play the game. I mean, do you remember the first time you played Catan?
Sure.
Okay, I wasn't very good at Catan in the beginning. I remember the first couple of rounds.
Okay.
I just felt like, what is going on? I had to learn these rules. It was taking a lot of time. Meanwhile, like, you seemed to be really good, and we were playing with my brother and sister-in-law, and I'm just like, they're really good at this. Like, what's going on? And then eventually I figured out the rules, and I was like, watch out, bitches. I'm coming to play.
And she's good. She's really good.
I'm good.
But yeah, I think like with anything, right? You need to spend the time and learn to play the game. Now, for me, that game, the rules of the game is understanding the language of your body.
Yeah.
For me, that is the level of depth that if you understand that, you can apply that and that will translate to all modalities of movement and exercise. So to me, I think that's the hardest part though.
Not everybody wants to learn.
Not everyone wants to learn the language.
No, they don't.
But it's your body. You're stuck with it, whether you like it or not, for the rest of your life. So learning, like I'm biased.
Learning
I think
is
I'm a little biased, but like, what is a more valuable thing to learn than how to take care of you?
it's the same thing when it comes to, the debate between, do I track my macros, do I eat intuitively? I think it's incredible for people to be able to eat intuitively, but if your body doesn't know how to be fueled because you don't understand how macronutrients work, then we can't just listen to the intuition if our intuition is telling us think
Cheesecake.
yeah.
Yeah, if your intuition.
Okay, fun fact, for my 30th birthday,
I will not be doing this live.
I wanted to go to do karaoke, and
I'm just going to say I'm not going to do this live.
and Tim was like, okay, well, what song do you want me to perform? And I was like, I get to pick. I was like, well, what do you want to perform? And he was like, well, I don't really want to sing, but I'll rap. And I was like, you rap? And he was like, I will rap for you. So I asked him, well, what do you want to rap? And somehow, I don't know how we got.
You absolutely picked.
Okay, I don't even know where I got this from, because the only time I heard this song, I was doing a kettlebell competition, and Marissa asked me to put this song on for her to like connect to her fierce. The song I requested Tim to learn was Godzilla by Eminem, which, if you know that song, you might know that it is also known to be the fastest rap in history at this point. At least when I hit 30 a couple of years ago, it was. Maybe it's changed. But in the song, there's a line, and the line is cheesecake.
So, okay, even applying this, right? Okay, I needed to acquire the skill. I needed to acquire. I'm gonna bring it full circle. Ready for
Guys,
this?
how do you think you get? Never mind.
I don't know where you were going with this, but
You
if
know
it's
exactly
anything,
where
I
I was
don't.
going,
If it's
because you
earn
know.
to learn, then learn to earn. Learn to earn.
Learn
to earn. I wanted to learn the skill of singing this song with all of these lyrics, and there's so many lyrics. So in order to do that, my listening horizon was very narrow. I went very deep with one song.
All we did was listen to Godzilla.
And I did more.
like
I
6
did
months.
even. It wasn't that long.
It was long. I even learned.
Okay, yeah,
I
it was
learned a
April
lot
to
of it.
October.
I learned a lot of it.
But I was doing a lot on my own in my free time when you weren't around to figure out that song.
Okay.
So I had to go deep to acquire the skill to memorize this song, because if you're doing it on karaoke, what if the line's delayed and then you're reading and then it's too slow? And so I was like, I need to know it.
You need the skill.
So, and like, just to be able to muscle memory, just kind of like fall into it. Anyway, even something like that, I want you to connect the dots of training is the same thing. If you want to learn something, you do need to do a deep enough dive in it. If you're trying to acquire a new skill, you can't just dabble in it. I think that's the problem with a lot of you've done this for 5 years now. You've done 10 rounds of swing to snatch. The people who tend to be most successful are the people who say like, I am doing this now.
Yeah.
I'm committing to learning this now. And it's, other goals go on the back burner. So, we're talking about that Olympic trial runner, right? Like, who was my client who, like, we said, okay, this is when that trial is. I want you to cut your mileage in half. So she was not running, like, if she was doing 40, she cut down to down to 10 or 15. We cut her down to, while she was learning. Like, we significantly cut her mileage down. And like, for her, this was easy running. This was like autopilot running.
Yeah.
It was not like
For the
high
average
intensity.
person.
For the average person, it was, still a feat of, strength. But for her, it was just like nothing. Cheesecake. But she applied herself to this. Now take that same counter, that opposite, the person who might not have been as successful going through the program. They were trying to build up their run while trying to learn a whole new set of skills in kettlebell technique. and it's not as successful. There's only so much capacity for learning new things at once. And if you are diverting, your resources,
Your portfolio.
you don't want to diversify your portfolio too soon, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, you want to invest in something, learn it to a degree where now you've earned the right to have this tool in your toolbox and pull it out when you need or when you want.
Yeah, if you want to do it for fun,
Yeah.
I know some people and they're just like, I want to snatch today because it sounds like fun. Cool.
Yeah.
Go off. Do it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's important to just remind people it's a spectrum. It's not one or the other. There's a give and take. Yeah. There's a balancing.
And for certain goals, it requires more. It requires more specificity. Anytime I have somebody and they're just like, I really care about aesthetics right now. How do I do everything in my power to achieve, more muscle on my body? Because that's the number one thing. The performance stuff is kind of going on the back burner. It's like,
and the skill acquisition is going on the back burner too.
Absolutely. It's just like, we're going to kind of do some more of the boring stuff.
Because you need the volume. You need the time under tension. So it's all relative to the goal again.
So make sure when you are setting your goal and figuring out how you want to set it up, everything is in alignment. It's not to say one is better than the other. It's different, and it's going to look different on each person depending on what it is they want.
Yeah, there needs to be a congruency. It needs to align. There's no wrong answers, but it needs to coexist with itself.
Thanks for tuning in. Oh.
Was that it? That's not your usual sign off.
I can swallow a bottle of
I'm not
alcohol
singing the song live.
Like Godzilla. I was hoping you might do some of it with me and then I would sign it off. You're a monster.
I'm not doing it from the beginning. That's not the fun part.
Oh.
Now I'm doing it. See how she twisted my arm? Film with the venom in a limb, made him other words a minute, made him. I don't want to hurt him, but I did him in a fit of rage of murdering again. Nobody will evade. Finna kill himself, fucking bodies and like obliterating everything, incinerating, renegade, hit him, make anybody want it with the pen afraid. Don't want it. They're gonna get it anyway because I'm gonna get it.
Leave a rating and review if you enjoyed today's episode. My gosh.
I'm a monster.
You are a monster. My monster. Thanks for listening to this episode. Make sure to give us a follow so you never miss an episode and you get to see me and my monster in the next one.